Right, Debs, thanks very much. And before I start, I'd like to just introduce a few people that have been working on this resource platform with me. So we have, of course, we've got Debbie Diesel, and Debbie does all of the meeting setups and engagements and recording and video editing. So if the videos are a bit slow when they're edited, then Debbie's the one. Debbie's and so Debs, if you wouldn't mind putting on your screen, and then I'd also like to introduce you to Monica. Monica as well. So Monica's basically our marketing and project manager. So she's been helping us build a lot of these resources. We've got Ross. Ross did a lot of the technical programming and statistical or stats, collection of stats from YouTube. And Ross will do a bit of, he has a talk on YouTube, the studio and the statistics. And then I don't know if Mark's around. Is Mark on?
Yes, he is.
There's a Lachlan. Okay, so there he is as well. And he's helping us with what we refer to as the cataloging or the write-ups, the technical write-ups that take place. So every single time we have a webinar, then what happens is there's a whole lot of work that we're doing in the background to get the video out, to get the transcription, to create a write-up. And we're using two things. One is Mind Grasp, and I'll give you a demo of that. And then the other one is something called ChatGPT that we use to summarize and improve the results of Mind Grasp. And that's how we're producing these write-ups, and these write-ups then become available, and we then publish the videos. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to all of the members. If you have any questions, please shout, stop us, and we can talk to the different areas. Okay, so we may jump around here a bit. So, for example, Ross will be talking on the interface that he built to collect and to present the videos. I'm not sure if Monica would like to present, but I think she's certainly going to do some of the questions at the end in terms of the survey, in terms of what resources do you believe are helpful to you. We've got Veronica that's going to be here as well. She's will be talking about the CDMP Payback program. So we haven't had much demand on this, which has been quite interesting. But Veronica will explain that to you. Hopefully, we can share some more insights and information there. And then we're going to talk to you a little bit about our superhero card system that we've put together. So the background for all of this was I was asked by DAMA EMEA to give an update on what DAMA South Africa is doing. And just lately, there's a set of awards for the DAMA chapters around the world, and what we're doing for our members. So I'm just going to give you a present. I'm going to share this with you in a similar way that I shared with DAMA EMEA. Okay. So before I go, from the people that have been working on it, are there any comments? Ross, Debbie, Monica, any comments from yourselves before we start?
Right. I think it's just been an incredible opportunity, and also being a techie, having just been exposed to DAMA and the work has certainly opened my eyes. Probably late in the day, but yeah, it's been fairly useful. I'm a developer and I kind of hide in my cave. But certainly, it's been an interesting journey so far, and yeah, I look forward to growing a bit older with it.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Howard.
Excellent. Thanks, Ross. Okay, and then all right. So let's go through, and please hands up, interrupt if you'd like, and ask us any questions. So let's go to the webinar dashboard, and I'm hoping you'll recognize this. This is what we get out of Power BI. So when I publish the webinar dashboard to powerbi.com, then I can then export it into PowerPoint, and I can see the results of the dashboard. Okay, so the dashboard is looking something like this, and this can be embedded into the website. And Monica is actually going to demonstrate a view of what it looks like on the website. And shortly, we'll be publishing this to the DAMA South African website. And you'll be able to go on there to say, let me have a look at the video catalog, to the views, to the webinar write-ups, the statistics and things like that. Now, we've got so many things here. And in the end, we'd like to just ask you for some feedback as to which areas do you believe are helpful and that you'll benefit from. So here you can see what we call the catalog. Now, what happens is Debbie, at the end of the meeting, she gets the recording and publishes that to YouTube. And then what happens is Lachlan takes it and he creates the write-up, and we'll just go through a flow on that. Every single time these YouTubes are published and that, we collect the statistics and we upgrade or update our catalog. You can see it over here. Here you can see some of the images of the different videos, and you can see that we can then classify. We've classified these videos, and then you can select the different options and you'll get a different series of videos. And hopefully you see there now we're sitting at 205 videos. Okay, and so there's a total of 16,000 views on YouTube, and we've had a total of 113,000 minutes that have been watched by people, interested parties. Here you can see a bit of the write-up, and then you can see some of the views. And I've filtered there to say, show me the views on Howard Diesel. So if you present, you can then have a look at, well, how did Howard Diesel do? So Inri hasn't seen the Payback program. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, Veronica will talk about that a little bit later. Okay, all right. So now we've got the catalog, we've got all those views. Then can you see here we've got statistics as to where people are finding it, either, and this is the data that Ross collects on the playlist, on the notification, on the channels, and notice our channel statistics. Okay, if you look at our channel statistics in terms of how they're growing, that's been quite nice. This is an analysis of the countries in terms of where we've had different speakers, of course, mainly in South Africa. But then you can also see we've got speakers from all over Europe, North America, we've got Canada, we've got Peru, and we've got Australia. So we've got quite a few speakers, and then we've got presenters. So there's all their LinkedIn profiles, and on their LinkedIn profiles, we've also got, when you click on it, you can actually see the web write-up or the webinar write-up, which has been generated using the MindGrasp technology that we're going to show you now. Now, another thing we've done is built a calendar. So this is a calendar of past events, of what has been seen. So you can go and click on that and see the video. There's, for example, gamified data governance, and Drew helped us with this. Drew helped us set the guy up from ShopRite, if I remember correctly. I can't remember his name right now, but he showed us how they built a intranet with SharePoint, and they had a whole lot of personas and different things. And then we've got future events as well. So the future events you can click on, and it goes to the Meetup event. And then we've got the website that Monica's showing over here. All of these things are from that Monica's done. She's done a great job on the actual presentation. Okay, now what we're hoping to do as well, and we didn't see this as a feature, is as we publish a feature, then we'll also be able to pick up a email to say this is what's been updated. There's the thumbnail. These are the video IDs, and so that's quite a nice facility as well. Now, this is really exciting. We are looking at automating this a lot more at the moment. I'm using a technology called Mind Grasp, and you can see here that we paste a link of the video. We paste the webinar write-up in the actual video itself, and then we go into here, and it gets all of this text out of the video or a transcript, and it creates these different topics. Now, the thing that we find amazing is that you can now actually interact with the video. So, for example, you could say, please explain data literacy or uplift, and you can now engage with the video and you can compare and contrast. So you don't need to go through the whole video. You can actually just have certain discussions, and then as well you can say, well, let me see what the website has, what this looks like on the website, and then there'll be a search on the website. Now, after we've done that, we take that information from MindGrasp and we put it into Word, and I'm hoping you can see here is something called ChatGPT. And let me just give you a little bit more detail. Now, when we take that chart, when we take the results from MindGrasp, you can then ask ChatGPT to improve it, to shorten it, to whatever it is. It then takes that information, creates a paragraph, and then you can insert the paragraph, and you can build this information from it. Okay. From there, we get a Word document, and then from the Word document, we add some of the screens from the presentation in there, and then we have a table of contents. We create an executive summary, and we publish that onto the website. Okay, so just want to pause there and ask Lachlan if he's got anything else that he'd like to add or he's comfortable. So Lachlan's the one we've got these 205 videos that need to be written up, and we need to go through this process of doing the write-up and also then collecting timestamps so that when you see the video on YouTube, you've got these, what they call chapters, and then you can actually see the chapters there. So this is the work that Lachlan's been doing. Any comments from your side, Lachlan?
Nothing other than everything just sounds a bit too slow because I'm used to watching all these videos on like a sped up thing
Right.
to get through it quicker. But it's interesting working with the technology, the AI. There was this chat about it making words, and I didn't notice that up until today, where it started like combining things and making a mess for me. It really feels like you have about 17-year-old child who is doing like a summary or something, and then you just come in afterwards and just like edit it and clean it up so that it is good enough for publication. Sometimes it can be just a mess, depending when we try to use some new or different applications to get the timestamps for videos, which is really what takes a long time out of doing these webinar write-ups, is watching them, following the notes that MindGrasp generates, and then just cataloging it with the times that show on YouTube. You get a transcript on YouTube, which is very helpful. And yeah, that takes a lot of the time. Then I get some images from there. Then I will put that all together in a Word document and then go through it and get it to generate copy. It just takes it and then generates it into a bit more of like flowing paragraphs. And then I edit it again just to find if there's the grammar issues or if it starts losing meaning, which it can. One of the difficult things is it likes to switch the gender to neutral quite often. So you just have to go back and relook at things. Yeah, it's exciting to be doing something that is currently developing. You never know, like in another month, I might have better tools to use to get this done faster. So that's exciting.
That's where we talk to Ross to improve that thing.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Lachlan. Okay, great. So you can see all these processes now. The nice thing about that is you get the chapters, and now you can jump around, and you don't have to watch all the different the whole video, or you don't have to put it on 2 times the speed to actually get all the information out. Okay. So this is the process that Monica has put together. And you can see all the different things on starting the planning for the different, finding the guest speaker. This is what Debbie does. Then building a teaser, creating a resource folder. So this is also something that we're wanting to do, is to create a resource folder for all of the resources. For example, the webinar deck, the video, the chat, and then also there's some templates and resources that we share, and they put together this process over here. So Monica, any comments from your side on describing the process? So we've got the webinar process, we've got the LinkedIn and Meetup, that's where we publish it, and we've got the write-up process, and then we've got Debbie doing the video and thumbnail editing. Any comments from your side, Monica?
Not really, but it has been quite interesting to see how there might be different processes, but everything works kind of at the same time. So it's a very interesting process, and it's going to be good to actually start getting all of this stuff preserved properly, because there's a lot of information which is going to be helpful for a lot of people.
So that's great in terms of, we're talking about curation of our resources and the assets that we've been building up. So those 205 webinars that we've had since 2021, we've got most of them cataloged and defined. And so that's been quite a good thing. And then we've got the final video and thumbnail editing. And I wonder if Debbie has anything to share. Debbie, on your side?
Yeah, it's been, sorry, I'm on mute. Meow. I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, so it's been really great to learn the skill of learning how to edit webinars, and I'm still learning Photoshop, but it's really great skill to have in life, I think. It's really, I don't really have to go and edit, sensitive information. Sometimes it comes up and I have to hunt for it. But yeah, it's great to help spread the word of all these guest speakers and share with the community. And yeah, really booking these guest speakers for these webinars and hunting for topics that will be interest and knowledge to our community. It's really been great. I battle with it sometimes, but yeah, thank you for everyone who's shared and who's recommended someone to share with our community. So I really enjoy it, and still learning the thumbnail, like the Photoshop, but there's lots to learn with that. And again, great skills to have, and really happy to help the community learn and grow together.
Fantastic. And then every single time we see some author, some data management thought leader present a book or publish a book, then Debbie gets onto LinkedIn and sees if we can get them to present. So we've had quite a few authors, and we'll keep on doing that. Everyone from Doug Laney to Kathy Rondon to Mark Atkins. So that's been helpful. As we see the people publish their books, then we'll see if we can get them online and get them to chat. We're also helpful to actually create some level of not marketing, but just exposure to the books that are being developed by our thought leaders. Okay, now this is the video catalog and the resource bank, and this is sort of what Monica manages. And here is the folder for all the resources that we can make available. These are the different taxonomies, or the taxonomies that we use to do the search. And then this is where Debbie comes in, where she then sets up the Meetup, sets up LinkedIn, sets up YouTube, and all of the resources come together. And now you can see Debbie interacting with the people on LinkedIn, Debbie and myself, and Debbie handles a lot of that. Whenever people request video recordings, then Debbie will get the link out to them. Okay. All right, now we've gone a level further where we collect the attendance and the meetings that we've got. And this is for the CDMP certification maintenance. Okay, so in some cases on this attestation, so when we talk about renewal, and I must admit, I don't know all the details on exactly. Yes, if you'd like to.
You think they can hear me from here? Can you hear me from, can you hear me on Howard's microphone? Can. Okay, so when your certification, your exams will expire after 3 years after you've first written it, then DAMA will send an email saying you need to renew your certification. If you've only done one exam, you have a CDMP associate. That can also expire and it also needs to be renewed. Renewal, they'll send you an email. And then you have to follow the process on the email. 3 steps. 1, pay $100. 2, do this attestation for maintenance. And 3, online sign the code of conduct. Now, if you've got a full certification, a practitioner or a master, then you just renew that using the same process. If you have written a few other exams, like some specialist exams, and you've got 70 or 80% pass mark, that will expire if you haven't completed your certification, your 3 exams within the 3 years, which means you won't be able to use it towards a practitioner or master. It will become merely an associate. This attestation for certification, I think that was all I needed to say. Yes, so remember, do all your specialist exams within the year of writing the DM fundamentals, or you lose your excellent mark that you get on your DM fundamentals. Within 3 years, sorry. Within 3 years.
All right, so here we want to help you. Yeah, this is thing. And so you can see here, this is certainly the statistics I keep of the people within Modelware. So there's Howard, Debbie, Veronica, Paul Bolton, Ross, Caroline, Monica, and then Christine. So these are the people that work with Modelware, and these are the statistics. So you can see I've attended 125 webinars and I've spent 193 hours in webinar discussions. And here you can see my statistics, and this can be used, at an organizational level. There you can see this is just in the year between 2021 and 2022. I spent 23 hours, 23 meetings on Africa data management, then big data, data governance, user group, ins and outs of data modeling and data protection for professionals. And this is, you can see where I am currently. Okay. Now that's why it's negative. So I've done 4 meetings less than what I did last year for this different section. And these are the hours spent, and this is my year to date. This is overall, so there's 288 hours that I've spent in presentations. Okay. Alrighty. So
I think I didn't finish telling them about that form.
Okay.
That form, go back a slide.
Okay.
That form there, that attestation for certification maintenance, you go through the steps, the next, and it's asks you to validate, to verify that you have been an active member in your chapter. And so they say you don't have to submit unless they ask for it. They can request proof that you've been an active member, and then Howard can pull that Power BI report, and it's there for you.
All right, so this see this. So this is the detail of all of the different webinars, what they were about, what the time spent. And then there's a report. That would be a report, and you can choose the different years or times or whatever that may be. Okay. Now, of course, this just comes from the meeting attendance. So, for example, we'll have Drew Kennedy, Drew K, or whatever. So there's just these abbreviations of the names that you use on LinkedIn, on Teams. So depends on how consistent you've been with that as to how we can link those different elements together. Okay, so sorry, this is then moving on one slide. Okay, now what we'll do now is just go to the statistics developed by Ross. And Ross, I wonder, would you take us through this? Can you just explain to the people what you've done and the challenges that you faced and the many evenings you spent not sleeping?
Yeah, thanks. I've just requested, you've given me control now.
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank you. So this was at inception. Basically, it was a flowchart which I put together, on the basis of the consults with Howard, in terms of what his requirements were, both for a catalog and for our analytics. So we wanted to understand what the viewership was, the breakdowns, how how the community responded to the various topics. So that's where the grouping becomes interesting. And we also try to align with the CDMP training and things like that. So, and the DMBOK knowledge areas. So that's kind of the background, the analysis that was done. We then moved into, I don't seem to be able to move next.
Yeah, you should be. I'm not sure. Let me go.
It's not. Okay. So one of the interesting aspects that really I was initially made aware of was during my CDMP training, and that was of the shift from ACID to base type transaction processing because of big data. So this project actually was the first project that gave me some exposure and some experience in working with systems that are built on these kind of principles. We use, I refer to SharePoint. It's more commonly known and exposed to people today in Teams as OneDrive. So there's very good integration between Microsoft's various products, Teams, which the filing system for Teams and versioning is what was traditionally the domain of SharePoint. OneDrive is also sitting on SharePoint. So it's quite an interesting journey and experience. And then in terms of just leveraging these technologies in an environment where there's multiple contributors. We have all the people on the video authoring side. We have myself, and all engaging and working almost real time with the product. You do tend to find that there are the occasional issue where things aren't being synced up because in a multi-user type environment. But we really are leveraging Microsoft's infrastructure here significantly in terms of, we share our documents on OneDrive, SharePoint. I collect information. It actually gets written to SharePoint storage or OneDrive storage. And so CAPS theorem really, for those of you who've done CDMP and are still au fait with CAPS theorem and base, basically you get to opt for, two inconsistent, you got to pick two out of the triangle of consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. So this has been a very useful exercise personally, but a very interesting, and provided me with a lot of insight in terms of leveraging this kind of infrastructure at very, I dare to say, but at very low cost. To try and host all this stuff on systems in the cloud and stuff. We're really using technology and it's at minimal cost. If one thinks of all the technical aspects, the real deep technical aspects, it's for me, it's incredible. So this was the data model that gets built in Power BI. What was also interesting is that I'm being exposed to the various data models, those being in Power BI, the data models as we work with in Excel. So the software, the underlying software that we use to do the integration is also was extremely impressive. So beyond this ability to model the data, that's below all that sexy looking dashboard stuff. This is where all the data actually sits and resides, and these are the relationships between the various tables, the classification taxonomy tables, the actual catalog tables. You can also see on the left-hand side here, we've built in some metrics, maintenance of metrics in terms of how often we're calling the YouTube API, etc. Because all of this is seamless. So it's really we're integrating to Google itself. And let me get on to the next screen. So in this situation, what we've got is Google Cloud. So it's their cloud console. And you can see we've enabled so there's a bunch of APIs that can enable. This is a filtered view. And essentially there's only 3 APIs that we make use of, but there's an extensive range of Google APIs that one can avail oneself. And these are all available through REST services. And then you also get on the cloud console, you get all your metrics, your success and error rates on the actual API calls that you're doing, what kind of latency you might be experiencing. They offer useful tools for this is a more in-depth analysis, the Metrics Explorer. So from any of these particular visuals, graphic visuals, you can drill down via the Metrics Explorer. They also have for the API developers a very useful interface. So you basically, there's a taxonomy here, which breaks down the actual APIs and the features, because it's extensive, and you actually get blown away by the ability to work with YouTube under the covers. And then one can actually test out the API calls directly. They've got a sandboxed environment, and one can test out the methods. Like most APIs today, they've moved towards OAuth. They do support the API keys of the legacy stuff, but in this case, we started with OAuth integration, so that we can provide access tokens and get access tokens to access the APIs. Can't seem to get into that.
Okay, try now.
Oh,
did you go? Okay.
I think I went.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the techies. And really what my focus was here, not just to show you my development environment. So this is actually code running on the machine that's under the debugger. These are the various scopes that one presents as evidence for the OAuth. And then this is just basically a console log of what's happening during the processing. But what's so interesting about this development environment, I mean, you know, these environments are incredibly sophisticated and they're leveraging AI. I mean, when you're busy typing in your code, it'll prompt you. You know, if you seem to be hesitating and stuck at a particular point on making the API calls, it'll prompt you, do you want to have a look at examples from GitHub? Now, for those of you who don't know, GitHub's a massive open source code repository. Everyone runs their projects, literally everyone runs their software projects from GitHub, even Microsoft. And so what they do is that they will give you some kind of contextual drop down an example that you can view of the code that you actually working with. Remember, I'm an old school developer, and I was developing back in the days where these things were just unheard of and undreamt of, and you know, this even predated the ability to search Google. But yeah, it's a very, very sophisticated environment and so powerful. And you know, in order to build these technologies, you know, you need these kinds of environments.
Excellent, Ross.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much. We'll come back for questions, and then you can ask on the different areas. Okay, so that was the statistics. Then I'm quickly going to just do this. I needed to do a talk on data classification, or I've been battling to explain to my people when teaching classification that it's not just about data privacy. It's actually, there are so many ways in which we need to catalog our data assets, and a single data privacy classification just doesn't work. Okay, so I've just done a description, and I am going to be doing a more in-depth talk. And what I liked about one of the presentations is they can say the same taxonomy or ontology can be used to provide user interaction in terms of navigation. There's what they call the information architecture structure, and there's the underlying taxonomy that you build in a tool like Protégé, and then you have a content model. And you can see these structures are slightly different, but they all got to come together to help us produce a digital collection of videos and recordings that we can put together. And this has been able to access the library. And the most important thing is that we can't force people into one or like a foldering system. We all know the shared folder where you put all these resources into a shared folder, and then if people don't understand the folder structure, they duplicate the contents and the assets. And so the idea is not to have a folder, but to have multiple taxonomies that we can use to catalog, and then we can find it using a search tool. Okay, so this is these different control vocabularies is an example of a hierarchical taxonomy. And this is what we're dealing with here, is which we call a faceted taxonomy. So we'd have knowledge areas, we'll have authors, we'll have different levels, and I'm going to show you some details. Finally, we have the ontology that we are going to start adding. So each video can talk about, for example, a DMBOK deliverable or a DMBOK process, and you'll be able to search the videos for the different processes and deliverables. And so this is our first grouping of the taxonomies. Video visibility, that's been what's the visibility of the video, the status of the webinar, the playlist, the meetup groups, the authors, countries, the knowledge areas, the data management roles, and the CDMP training. So those are different areas of our taxonomy that you can use to search all of these different videos. Okay, because there's so much information there, it's not easy to find these videos, and we have to find a way of accessing it. So here is quite an interesting slide. This is dynamic Power BI in PowerPoint, and I can show you how we can do it. So we can, for example, we can spend time over here and we can search for, this is a webinar author, and there we go. Now, oh, what's happened there? Remco. Oh, sorry, his name is Remco, not Remmer. And there is Remco, okay? And he's from the Netherlands, and these are the videos. Or we can then say, well, okay, what about, let's clear that out. We've now also got clear that.
Caroline Mouton.
Yes, so now now you can look at the roles. So for example, give me all the roles for professional, or let me have a look. Okay, I'm not interested in professionals anymore. Let me have a look at all of the DAMA South Africa playlists. I'm not sure what happened to that one. That was not.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, and then we've also got, for example, if we want to look at data privacy. So that would be the foundational areas of, data management. So if we look at security, I wonder what's happening there, where our videos are. There we go. So these are all the data privacy videos. There we've got Lucien, we've got Caroline Mouton, we've got all sorts of different people that have been speaking. And so you can go through that. Now you can also click on here and go to the YouTube video. And there is the video that you can have access to that has been edited. Can you see the different related videos and chapters? Okay, that was JG talking. All right, so that's quite a nice way of interacting. This can go onto our website and people can interact with that. Fantastic. Then I'm going to go through quickly just to be able to give Veronica some time. This is what we've been building, which is that career strategy or the superhero cards. Okay, you can see this is a career strategy where we will provide you with the ability to do a thinking style assessment, strength finders, do a professional maturity analysis. And we've just finished with here are the different assessments that you do on Canvas, the same as the CDMP. This is the type of review that we do with a professional. This is with Tozi. He wanted to be a data architect. He's a DBA at the moment, and we wanted to show him how he needs to get there, what sort of work he needs to put in place. And then here is what we refer to as the superhero card. Now, we actually got this idea from the change management, Chris Bradley, where they said they did it for data stewards. And on the back, they actually had their roles and responsibilities so they could see, this is who they are. And we're using something called Midjourney to generate these images of the people according to the different strengths, the Clifton strengths and thinking styles. There's their professional levels and then their levels Sophia. Okay. All right. Now that's a whirlwind tour of everything that we've done. And I'd then like just to get Veronica to talk to the Payback program that we've established.
Yes. Can you all hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, so DAMA Southern Africa, we've got a fairly large group of members, and we wanted to be able to incentivize members who are not being sponsored by their organizations to take control of their careers and invest in themselves. And we thought it would be good to be able to give them some kind of a reward based on their scores. So anybody who is a DAMA South Africa member pays for themselves to do any of the CDMP exams, and it's not just the DM fundamentals. It's unlimited. If you want to do a whole bunch of exams, you can do that. If you get an associate pass, DAMA South Africa will give you 1,000 Rand. For a practitioner pass, you get 2,000, and for a master pass, you get 4,000. It's not Anne, it's Annie.
Oh,
Annie Taylor is our most recent recipient. She did DM fundamentals, data governance and data quality, and she did it in fairly, in a few weeks. She was really on the ball. She ended up getting 2 master passes and 1 practitioner pass. So she got a nice fat cashback payment of 10,000 Rand.
yeah.
So it really, we've been advertising it on LinkedIn on and off, and Debbie mentions it in her CDMP Q&A, and Debbie mentions it sometimes on our webinars, but we haven't really, short of doing a spam email to everybody, which we really can't do. We've been trying to promote it, but please, you can promote it by the word of mouth now as well. We haven't had too many people claiming, and I think maybe because most people actually are sponsored by their companies. But if you're not, you just need to email education@dama.org.za with your proof of payments and your proof of your pass and your bank details, and then the board will all okay the cashback payment. But you need to be a DAMA SA member. So please, if you're thinking of doing this, join DAMA South Africa. You just need to email membership@dama.org.za and you'll get the let me put that down here. And you'll get a form and you can join up. And it's not just South Africans, it's open to anybody. Mark in Calgary, Canada, he's a member. We've got members in India. We've got members in Saudi Arabia. Yes. So, and if you are in Saudi Arabia and you pay for yourself, suppose we could organize a relevant exchange rate. I'm not quite sure that would work. Yes.
And that was, and it sometimes it feels insensitive, but when we talk to the international people about the price of these certificates, they're not cheap. So here, for example, we're talking about $311. This was some time back. To do a single exam, you got to write 3. So we're talking 6,000. So you're talking 8,000 Rand, 18,000 Rand, sorry, to get your CDMP certification. So this is quite expensive. And then, for example, if you don't get it recertified or if you expire the 3 years, then the challenges are back. So this is what we're trying to do. I know people like Drew have written and he still hasn't claimed. Some of them, not everybody claims, but hopefully when you get some time, we can do that. Okay, fantastic. So we'd like to now go to the survey. And Monica, if I could hand over to you.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed this webinar so far with all of this information. And we just want to take a moment to ask you, who would be the user or like someone benefiting from this, what you found useful, what we might have missed, just to get your thoughts on the features that would be provided here.
All right, so we've got.
Just feel free to shout out if you want.
These are the features that we've put together at the moment. So video searching using multiple taxonomies, video statistics, comments, likes. Monica, I don't remember seeing a comment. We actually had a comment on the weekend, someone saying there's so many resources here, and he said it's woefully undersubscribed. But
no, yeah, it's up there with all of those other wonderful comments from LinkedIn and everything. So it's a bit of a small comment, but it is there.
Okay, so we do
right,
have 5 dislikes. I need to find out where the dislikes are. I'm not sure what we're doing wrong, but we'll pay attention to that. Then we've got the resources, the statistics on how many views by channel, and then also by video. We've got country analysis and then also certification. So I'm going to stop talking and we'll wait for you to any comments. Maybe we can ask Drew offered to present his comments first. I'd love to hear your feedback, Drew. What's your feeling?
Right, The work that you guys are doing is fantastic. I really do take my hat off. What I did want to say is that I personally wasn't aware of those videos that were available on demand. So maybe somehow or other the marketing or the message is not as clear as it could be.
Okay, all right. So what we would like to do, Drew, is to bring that into our DAMA South African member community. That you know, when people are part of the chapter and they join the chapter, then they will get access to that, and we'll be able to present it to them.
Okay, I know that we did originally talk about having the members only portion on the website.
Yes.
And I have to admit that I've dropped that ball, but maybe that's something we need to look at picking up.
No problem. This is if people are enjoying it, then that would be fantastic.
Well,
Henry,
I think it's okay. Sorry.
No, Drew, go for it. Go for it.
I think it's spot on that every time there is a presentation or a link to even DAMA UK or any of those others, it's worth having it in one place. You know, the concept of the catalog for data should be applied for exactly this as well.
Yeah. And what we'd like to do as part of this, and this is just my own hobby, is to actually bring in almost like an ontology of data management that we can then say, if I want to do a data quality initial assessment, which videos would give me any deliverable? So any deliverable in the DMBOK, what videos could we find to tell us how to do that? And I know we talking to Carolyn Fulton now to help with this type of training where people can see examples of the deliverables as part of the DMBOK training. And if we can link the videos, that would be even better. Yeah, so the authors are great. We're certainly trying to work hard with them. One thing we didn't mention is as the authors are finished, they would do a review of the write-up just to confirm everything's right. And they would publish it, and we would be able to give them visibility and allow people to contact them via LinkedIn.
And we also sometimes ask them to donate a book.
Yes, that's right.
And they can choose a person who asks the best question or interacts well to get a book as a prize.
That's right. And we actually had that with Mark and Terry, Mark Atkins and Terry Smith on their latest one was Data Governance Needs Risk Management. They gave us a 50% discount so we could buy 2 books, and we could give that to the people that they felt were asking the appropriate questions.
I signed copies.
Yeah. And they signed it for us as well. So we signed our PDFs. Sorry, I think I'm maybe talking too much. Moni, are there any, any questions, any comments that people would like to share?
Put something in the chat about mobile, if people are interested in accessing it through the mobile interface.
Right, that's a good one. What I did want to show you as well is I don't know whether any of you have seen this mind grasp. Now, Ross is looking at automating this so it doesn't actually go via this thing, via this interface. And you can see here we've pointed it to the YouTube library. We've generated smart notes, and we've generated a short summary, and now you can actually interact with it. So for example, I can say, please explain data literacy. Now we're hoping that this is the type of thing that, you know, we can expose to people. There we go, ask the question. And then you can ask the video questions, or you can ask the mind grasp questions about the video. And if you provide that to your people, how valuable that would be.
No, that is very valuable. I think that it's also something nice to then actually go watch the videos that we have in the catalog and then ask Grasso if you'd like to. But then going back to those features in the catalog, is there anyone else that would like to just like say if they found any of it useful? If we missed something that you'd find useful that we can add? Don't be shy.
Thanks, Inri. Everyone's a bit shy today, Mons. I think they normally talk a lot when I'm on, but I think they're very quiet when you're here.
No, I thought it was maybe cold. I wouldn't say it's me personally.
Shame ones.
You can also drop it in the chat if you like to.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like talking. Yeah, or you can always get a hold of us afterwards as well. That would be grateful just to get some feedback.
Alrighty.
Cool, thanks.
Oh dear, sorry, Henry. I hope it wasn't shouting too much. Was it for with the Springboks and the All Blacks, or not really? Oh, okay. Excellent.
Do we have a student membership?
I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
No. Okay. Any final comments? Any final comments from anybody?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who put in so much work into this catalog. It's really been incredible, and I've witnessed the journey. It's been a lot of work. Yeah, and so yeah, thank you everyone. It's really incredible. And yeah,
Thanks,
become
Debs.
a DMSA member. We're like the most active chat or membership in the world.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you
Mr.
everyone.
Schneckler, I wonder if you can share anything. What's your observations from far away? I think it's Norway. Where? He's quiet at the moment.
Do you have a question? Sorry.
Yes. Do me.
I'm not sure if I missed. Yeah, I'm not sure if I missed the membership fees. Is it 350 per annum?
That is correct. It's 350 Rand an annum. Yes.
And if one signs up now, it will be 12 months from now, or how does it work?
I believe that's the case. I'm not sure. I'll just have to ask. We'll talk to Abida.
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay. Otherwise, I was just send an email that you provided.
Okay. All right. Do me.
Howard, I got an idea. It's from date of sign up. It's not everybody gets invoiced on the 1st of June every year.
Yeah, I think you're right, Drew.
We do it once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then I used to, when I calculated it, I used to calculate the amount of months.
Yeah. Just the pro rata. Yeah.
You got it. Okay.
Okay.
We have a student membership.
Yeah, we do have a student membership. That's great. Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, everybody.
Probably final point. What are the benefits to corporations, organizations for taking out a corporate membership?
Drew, sure. So, I mean, I don't have an answer for you straight away. What we can share is that, first of all, that Power BI, I can now pull those statistics out of the learning done at an organizational level. So if you can see it over there, there's Modelware systems. And if I clear that out, those are the 8 attendees that attended. These are the different people, what their attendance was, and things like that. It would also allow them to have access to those resources, the video resources, right?
Yeah.
So their people would be able to, and they would be able to say, have you watched this video to do that, and then whatever it is, and they'd be able to share that within their organization. But I mean, specifically to them, there's nothing special for the organization other than the fact that their members get access to these resources.
Okay, let's chat a bit more about it next time when we see each other.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, there's also, as Inri was talking about, Inri, I'm assuming you're talking COP as community of practice, opportunities for speaker slots. Certainly, I think we'd love to have more people speaking, and we always refer to it as a friendly space that people can do their initial presentations where it's not high stress, high pressure, and you can practice talking about the thing that you've just enjoyed doing, and you can share with us. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I think that knowledge platform is great. Now, what I've just started to look at is we're also finding with Microsoft that Purview, they are able to analyze content on YouTube and different channels, social channels as well. So that's also interesting. Drew, did I give you enough answers? But yeah, we can chat over a beer.
Yeah, spot on, Howard. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Excellent. Thanks, Inri. Thanks for your feedback. Appreciate that. Okay, guys, have a wonderful evening and enjoy the night and the rest of the week. And maybe we see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Yes, please join tomorrow.
Yes,
Great to have everyone there.
Bye.
Bye.
That's great, Inri.
Thank you.
Thanks. Interesting avatar.